Can you imagine taking a comprehensive counseling examination constructed in a foreign language, a language you don't know, in fact, a language you don't speak a single word of? Sounds pretty daunting, doesn't it? But what if you speak fluent English? Your comprehensive exam is in English, but the test throws out a string of words, verbiage, and terminology you've never heard in your life. I think you'll agree the second situation isn't that much better than facing an exam constructed in a language you know nothing about. Simply put, if you've never heard the terms, you probably won't be able to answer the questions. Hi, I'm Dr. Howard Rosenthal, and I'm going to share a dozen entries from my forthcoming second edition of the Human Services Dictionary. When colleagues and students ask, well, what's the new edition like? I have a powerful short answer. It's like the first edition on steroids. It's packed with well over 650 possible NCE, CPCE additional terms not found in the first edition, or to put it a different way, it is NCE domain ready. Before we get started, let's review a key point from my last YouTube video. And yes, this is the one thing no counselor wants to hear. Everybody, yes, everybody who passes the exam learns a ton of information that won't be on the exam. In fact, sit down for this one because it's a real mover and a shaker. Most of what you study will not be on the exam. There, I said it. That's a tough one to accept. I repeat, most of what you study won't be on the exam. Sorry, but that's the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Everybody who does well studies a lot of extra material. Okay, let's swing into action. I will now present you with a dozen terms I have heard counselors struggle with that may or may not be on a version of the exam you take. Only the folks who create the exam know the answer for sure. I do believe there's a good chance that some of them could show up, or I wouldn't waste your time teaching you these terms. Now, what should you do if you take your exam and all 12 I share do show up? Well, I'd say it's your lucky day. Buy a lottery ticket, purchase a few stocks, and write me a thank you email, ASAP. You'll also likely score unusually high, so don't forget to draft me a testimonial. Also, since I know that counselors and grad students lead very busy lives, I'm going to keep the definitions super short. There will be no fluff. I'll get right to the point and teach you only what I think is vital information. If you find my explanations too brief, don't be afraid to comb the necessary scholarly resources for additional information. Okay, let's do this. Number one, here's a term well known to teachers, school counselors, and school psychometricians. The term is the anti-homework movement. It refers to research indicating that excessive homework can actually be counterproductive, leading to declining test scores while causing stress and possible health problems. The impact is strongest in elementary school. The National Education Association, NEA, suggests 10 minutes of homework per grade. For example, 10 minutes for a first grader and no more than 2 hours for a senior in high school. Term number 2, transcranial magnetic stimulation, TMS. Excuse me? What did you say? I said transcranial magnetic stimulation. This is a treatment for depression, neurological pain, and schizophrenia, in which a magnetic stimulus, a coil placed on or near the skull, physically stimulates the brain, often publicized as an alternative to psychiatric medications. A series of sessions would generally be recommended. At this point in time, the mental health community does not universally endorse this method. It's often confused with electroconvulsive shock therapy or electroconvulsive therapy, ECT. Moving right along, term number 3, and very similar to TMS, the term ketamine, also known as Special K, no, not the breakfast cereal, or K-hole. This is an expensive, rapid-acting antidepressant administered via IV or nasally through the nose with near immediate results, often within 2 hours. The results, however, seem to be short-lived. Ketamine, actual brand name Ketalar, was additionally used in the 1960s to curb pain on the battlefield in the Vietnam War and as an anesthetic for human and veterinary procedures. The drug has somewhat of a controversial status since it has a reputation as a club drug. At this point in time, the mental health community is still split on whether ketamine is a wonder drug for mood disorders and persons with suicidal tendencies, or if it should not be used since it has serious side effects such as hallucinations and dissociative reactions. In any event, ketamine clinics are popping up faster than the weeds taking over your garden. Moving right along. Term number 4, neuroplasticity. Neuroplasticity refers to your brain's ability to change and heal, especially after a disease, stroke, or injury, by forming or reorganizing synaptic connections. The notion that this can only occur in children has been proven false. Some exams refer to this as brain plasticity. Talking to a counselor has been shown to cause neuroplasticity on the part of the counselor and the term number 5 is the Lucifer effect. In 1971, Stanford prison experiment conducted by psychologist Philip G. Zimbardo took volunteers and told them to ask as if they were guards, and they became very mean and sadistic in a short period of time. In 2007, Zimbardo penned a book called The Lucifer Effect, Understanding How Good People Turn Evil, that elucidated the fact that societal roles and situational factors often produce cruel behavior regardless of an individual's background, upbringing, and genetics. Term number 6, grass or grass. That's spelled capital G, capital R, capital A, capital S. Now, it's just like the word grass without the second S. Literally means generally recognized as safe. This designation is given by the Food and Drug Administration, the FDA, to describe a medicine, nutritional supplement, cosmetic, food additive, etc. The implication is that the substance will not cause harm when used in a recommended fashion. Term number 7, black box warning. First instituted in 1979. Strict warnings placed on a medicine by the Food and Drug Administration, again, the FDA, indicating evidence suggests that the medicine in question could have serious side effects or other habits. In counseling and human services, the best example is a warning on a prescription SSRI antidepressant, for example, Prozac, indicating that the drug can cause suicidal tendencies in persons who were not suicidal prior to taking the medicine. In general medical practice, a warning that a medicinal has serious negative side effects or hazards. Term number 8, parking lot suicides. Yep, you heard me right. Parking lot suicides refers to veterans who take their own lives at a Veterans Affairs VA facility, usually a hospital. The suicide can occur in a building or on the parking lot. Some of these suicides are seemingly linked to frustrations related to getting appropriate medical or mental health care from the VA. Term number 9, washout period. Again, washout period. In research, this occurs in a study when a participant is asked to stop taking a prescription medicine before the trial begins, so the researcher has less variables to take into account. Moreover, the washout period helps establish that the current drug or the current treatment is responsible for any changes rather than the previous treatment or drugs. The term literally means the previous substances are washed out of the body. Ethically, the risk taking this step must be taken into consideration. Term number 10, silver tsunami. And tsunami is TSUNAMI. First definition, the term is used to describe the fact that the population is getting older. Second definition, used to describe a population with more older adults than younger people, synonymous with the term gray tsunami. Term 11, snowball sample. Yep, just like when it's snowing. Snowball sample. This is a form of sampling for research that is not random, aka non-probability sampling. The first person in the sample recruits somebody else for the sample, and that person recruits yet another individual. The pattern continues until the sample size is met. The sample is like a snowball rolling downhill, picking up size as it gathers more snow. This approach lends itself to finding participants who otherwise might be difficult to recruit, such as homeless persons. Next term, number 12, bamboo ceiling. A type of discrimination popularized by the 2005 book, Breaking the Bamboo Ceiling, Career Strategies for Asians. Misperceptions of Asians, as well as racism and stereotyping, often permit them, meaning Asians, from certain jobs, such as positions in management and leadership. As of this writing and this video podcast, Asian Americans have the highest educational level of any racial group, but they have the lowest chance of securing a management position when compared to African Americans and Hispanic. The so-called sticky floor barrier suggests that Asians may snare a professional position in business, law, academia, etc., but ironically, it will often be a low-level job with little room for mobility that's upward. All right, so now you know a dozen additional terms that go well beyond the word empathy. Arborist, that would be the B in B.F. Skinner's name, by the way, to help you score seriously higher on your counseling exam. Have a great day and best wishes on your exam.